How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all keeping well. This is a GT3 race, as you can see, around Virginia International Raceway, VIR, that I did a couple of weeks ago, and just thought I'd make a video about it since I'm not going to have any league racing video for a while, so might as well put some sort of content out on the channel. And I do want to make a few more videos about official races down the line, so might as well start with this one. As you can see, finished or starting last on the grid. Few started from the pits, but in qualifying didn't get a proper lap in. I think I went off track on both of my laps, or had a spin on them, or something like that. Anyway, either way, starting down in dead last. Into turn one on the opening lap, bit of a collision there up ahead. Had to take it nice and easy to avoid anyone that was sideways on the track, and gained a couple of positions, or at least one position from that. Heading through the opening sector then, a very technical part of the circuit again, having a big check-up. A few cars off the track and everyone up and ahead, taking it very cautiously to make sure that they don't get involved in that collision as well. Side by side now with the pink Porsche as the number 14 BMW. Seems like he didn't get checked up with that. Managed to fly back past with a lot of speed, and I backed out of that one very early. I wasn't too interested in going side by side, heading up through the S's around here in another two places before we even get onto the back straight on this opening lap. It's been a bit of a bloodbath so far. I'm not sure what position I'm in now. The standings thing in the top right doesn't, or top left doesn't seem to be working, so I think I had that fixed for the next races after this in RTA. So up to V15 it is now as we're on lap 2. There's a lot of battling up ahead, another car off the track, so up another place from doing not a whole lot myself. But now we're behind this pink Porsche, backing out of it before we go up through the S's, and I was a bit blindsided, didn't really know where I was going. VIR, not a track I am overly familiar with, raced in RTA in the MX-5s. Other than that, I think it was the only time I've driven around here before this race. I know where the track's going, just not 100% sure really how to drive it in these cars compared to those MX-5s. Heading on to the back straight then, saw up ahead the pink Porsche going a bit wide on the exit, so he doesn't get the best run, and the BMW, known for its top end speed, with the slipstream we're able to pull alongside and pull ahead before we get into the next braking zone. Up another position, and now we have the Acura up ahead, and hopefully we can try and get onto the back of him and get back past in quick fashion. Through the final two corners then, wasn't overly good through there, just like I said, haven't raced around here a massive amount, so not really sure what I should be doing or what I shouldn't be doing, but it seems to be going so far so well in this one, up to P13 from starting P20 on the grid. Saw there the car up ahead, Angel, flashing a little bit, which is always a worrying thing to see, because you don't know if they're going to come back quickly or if you're going to have to avoid them, or what you're going to have to do with a blinking car, so have to be a little bit wary, and that's why I want to try and get back or get past very quickly so he can be in my mirror and don't have to worry about him again in this race. Through the opening sector then, Cesar in the pink Porsche was getting very close, so he's getting very close to Angel, but we all didn't crash into the back of each other or anything. We all stay where we are. Heading up the hill then into this tricky left-hander. Angel was very slow through here, and I got a bit caught out by that. That's going to allow the Porsche to get a run, send it down the inside. I saw it really early and I decided to leave him the room. Was trying to get a bit of a switch back on the exit there. Just hit into the rear quarter of him and wasn't able to get the run. And with that move I saw he was going to be very aggressive. So had the opportunity there to just slingshot back past again with the top end speed of the BMW. But decided to give him a buck draft to see if we can catch up to Angel, and then maybe the two of us can get back past and we can fight out from ourselves then later on in this race. Jumping ahead then to the next lap, lap 4, just at the start. No further moves made by anyone. but Caesar gets a good run out of that corner, has a look up the inside of Angel and around the next right-hander. Angel blinked there, so I'm sort of wondering whether that put off Caesar and that's why he kind of went wide and just drove off the track there. Either way, it helps me out because get that move done without having to put in a whole lot of effort. Do have a bit of a gap to the car ahead then. As we saw on the previous lap or the lap before that, this left-hander here was a lot stronger than he was. And you can see, closed up the gap pretty significantly in that turn, and through this double right-hander onto the back straight, we close up even further and are well within slipstream range now. Mentioned previously in this video about racing around here in the MX-5s in RTA, and with RTA the Formula V Scholarship Championship has ended by the time this comes out. Isn't finished when I'm recording it, so don't know who got the prize of winning a real life drive in Formula V in Montbello Park this year. But if you haven't seen the videos I've made for that, make sure you check them out. I'll leave a link to the playlist down in the description. So very fun and close racing every week in that championship. By the time this video comes out, I think the next season will have started, which is in the Porsche Cups, the new Porsche Cup car. So if that tickles your fancy, if you have any interest in racing in that, I'll leave a link to the Discord down in the description. Even if there's a round or two after being raced, you can still always join for the rest of the season. And then at least you're in the community for any future seasons down the line. All the seasons are 8 weeks long, and the cars and tracks change every season, so if you don't fancy this current one, maybe the next season you'll fancy doing it and you'll be involved in the community there. And throughout the grid there is all sorts of skill levels, so no matter what your pace is, you'll always find a couple of people that you'll be able to have a fight with on a weekly basis. But back to this one then, as you saw there, got a good move on Angel down the inside of turn 1 a couple of laps ago, just braking later and hooking the inside line, making sure to get it stopped, and we got past, get another position there from, I think it's Javier, who was, don't know if he was really pushed off the track by Ivan in the BMW in front now, but either way it doesn't bother me how we get past as long as we get past. And now we're on the verge of the top 10, I think we're currently in P11. But the BMW, as we've saw, or as we've seen, has very good top end speed, and since we're in the same car we don't have that advantage over Ivan. But we do have it over David Rodriguez in the car just ahead of him. I think he's in the Porsche, and like we saw with the pink Porsche, we do have a good advantage at or on the straights compared to him. So keeping it nice and tidy through the final 2 corners here. We get a really good run actually, but thought I was going to run a bit wide, so had to back out of it. Could have had a move on Ivan there if I got the line correct, but unfortunately that opportunity has passed now, and again, just not close enough to make a move into turn 1. David goes a little bit wide by the looks of it, but he's able to get a good exit and stay ahead of the 2 of us for the time being. Ivan not close enough to have a look into this left-hander. Up ahead there's a car off the track, rejoining nice and safely, to be fair to him. We are down the inside of the next left-hander. I'm 100% sure that we didn't make contact there because I looked at the replay and we were nowhere near touching, but that car now was off the track, goes for another spin. So rough couple of corners for him, but it does mean that now I am up into the top 10 with P9 or P8 actually up ahead in our sights. So on for a good result here, and I think a positive iRating gain and safety rating. SR is something I've kind of struggled with in the sports cars. I had a couple of rough races earlier in the season, so I'm trying to get back up above the 2.0 to keep my A license for next season. Up ahead, Ivan with the BMW's top speed pulling alongside David. Have to think about the names a lot more in these races compared to in RTA when you're racing the same people week in, week out. But either way, Ivan gets past, and I felt like I was similar pace, maybe a bit quicker than Ivan, so wanted to try and get past David as quickly as I can to see if I can get past David then. And through the final 2 corners, David trying to re-overtake, compromise his line, and on the pit straight we are in the slipstream. We're close enough to go for a dive now, so I pull to the inside, brake at my normal point, and then just kind of let off the brake a little bit to go in deeper and get the move done. Two cars then behind start the fight, so already after just a couple of corners we have a little bit of a gap formed, which means we are going to be safe to just focus on the car ahead and see if we can get past. Lap 11 now, the end of lap 11, heading on to the final lap. The gap to the cars ahead, I think they were fighting amongst themselves, has grown to over 5 seconds, and we are still well within the slipstream range of P8 of Ivan up ahead. We are a bit far back, 5 tenths behind heading into turn 1, so unfortunately not going to be able to go for a dive here. Through turn 1 he gets the line pretty much perfect, so we're not close enough to try and go for a move into the next couple of corners either. The GT3 cars though, cars that I don't really race a whole lot, but that's because I don't race too many official races. But when I do, I usually look at getting into GT3 cars, mainly because I want to just learn how to drive them, get more comfortable in them. They're very different to the Formula cars that I would be more used to driving from when I was racing on the F1 game, so a lot of new things to learn and slowly getting better at it. And yeah, just want to get up my iRacing, get more comfortable with them, so I can hopefully do some special events, some of the endurance races down the line. So I mentioned that in my end of year review a couple of months ago. If there's anyone watching this, whether they're in RTA or whatever, and they're looking for a teammate for any endurance races down the line, just shoot me a message and we can see what we can do, see if it's a good fit for everyone that's on the team. But anyway, back to this one now, coming towards the end of the race. Unfortunately wasn't able to get close enough to Ivan. On the back straight we closed in a bit with the, I was going to say DRS, but there's no DRS in these, with the slipstream, but weren't close enough to make a move through the final couple of corners. Both keeping it fairly clean, and we come up across the line. Started P20, going to finish in P9. So very fun race there, fighting from pretty much the back of the grid up into a pretty respectable finishing position. Wasn't too many overtakes to make, but very happy with the ones I did do. Very aggressive moves down the inside and was able to make them stick nice and cleanly. But that is it for this video. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe before you go. But until the next one, thanks for watching. See you then.